Hi guys, thank you for joining me today. My name is Richard and I'm the CEO for Richard Educational Consult. Thank you once again for being with me and also being part of Richard Educational Consult family. On today's video, we are going to talk about the required document needed to apply for a master's in the US. A required document needed to apply for a master's in the US. So before you apply or before you even decide to put an application to a school, you have to make sure you have these required documents available or in your possession before you apply to the school. So anytime I tell my people that most schools or every school has his or her own required document needed for an application. So before you even think of applying to a specific school, you have to make sure you've done your personal research about the school, about their required document needed to put in an application. So most of the times, people will just call me to put in an application for them, and I will ask them of a specific document, and they will be like, I don't know, I'm supposed to apply with this document. I don't know this document is needed for this application. I don't know this document. I don't have this document. I have to wait to see this person before I get this document. So please, before you even think of applying to a school in the US, you have to make sure you have these documents in your possession. It is very, very important, especially for master's degree. You have to have these documents in your possession. The first document I will talk about is your passport. Passport, passport is very, very important in an application. Every application that you put up, you have to make sure you have your passport available. Most schools do require a copy of your passport in the application process. Most schools do not require, but they later ask you to send them a copy of your passport through their email or through their official email. So before you even think of applying to a school, you have to make sure you have your passport at hand. It is very, very important. So if you don't have a passport, I will urge you to go and make one for yourself. Make one for yourself before you proceed with an application to study in the US. The second thing I would like to talk about is your resume or your CV. CV and resume, they are the same, but they are very, very important in an application, especially when you want to study or you want to further with your masters. It is very, very important. Most of the times, people will apply to a school for their masters and they will not get a scholarship. And sometimes they ask themselves that I applied with this person had a full scholarship, and I didn't get a scholarship. Why? The reason behind that is that you don't apply with you don't apply with your CV or your resume. You need to talk about yourself. You need to talk about your skills. You need to talk about your experience. You need to let the school knows that you are different from many applications that they receive. So you need to make your resume very interesting, your CV very interesting. You need to talk about your skills, the things that you can do, the things that when you are admitted to the school, what you are going to bring to the school, the improvement, the achievement, what you can do to help the school progress. You need to talk about that in your resume. So if you want a scholarship, either full scholarship or a partial scholarship, you have to apply with your resume. So make sure you start preparing your resume before thinking of applying to study in the US for your masters. You need to prepare your resume. The third thing I would like to talk about is your transcript. Transcript is very, very important in an application process. So before you even think of applying to a school, you need to make sure you have your transcript at hand. Most schools do require you to send your transcript through WES. WES is an organization, it's an international organization that you, the applicant, or you, the student, you will pay them and they will accept your, or they will receive your transcript from your school, the school that you had your undergrad. Then they will evaluate your transcript before sending it to your school. So they will officially send it to your school. WES will send it to your school. So most schools require you, especially masters, to send your transcript through WES and from WES to the school directly. Most schools too do require you to send your transcript through your school's official email. Through your school's official email. So let's take it for instance, I'm a Ghanaian and I completed in the University of Ghana and I want to pursue my master's in the US in University of Washington or Wash University. Before your transcript will be accepted, you have to you have to send your transcript through your school's official email. That is through the University of Ghana's official email. So you have to go to your school, talk to your school administrator or anyone, and you ask them to send your transcript to the school you are applying to or you've applied to in the US. So you cannot send your transcript through your personal email. It is going to be rejected. They are going to decline it because they are not going to accept. They will count it as unofficial because it was sent by your personal email. So the reason why they reject it is that they don't know whether the document is genuine or it's not genuine. Maybe you went to see someone and the person made a transcript for you. So they want to know that truly you are an alumni or alumnus of this specific school. That is why they required you to send your transcript through your school's official email or WES. I hope you get it. Thank you. Thank you for being with me. And this is Richard Educational Consult. Please, if you've not subscribed, please do subscribe. And the fifth document I would like to talk about is your letter of recommendation. Letter of recommendation. It is very, very important. Letter of recommendation. It is very, very important. So before you even decide to apply or put on an application to a specific school, you have to talk to your school counselor, your school instructor, your lecturer, your professor, your doctor, anyone in charge. You need to talk to them to prepare your recommendation letter because your school or your lecturer, your teacher has to recommend you to the school that, oh, this specific student, he or she was a good student, he was very humble, hardworking, he put in much in all academic. Your lecturer or your counselor, your school's administrator needs to talk much about you, recommend you to the school before the school gives you an admission. So before you even decide to apply to a school in the US, you have to make sure you've talked to your schools, I don't know, the one in charge to prepare your recommendation letter. And your recommendation letter should be sent by your school's email or your lecturer's email. You see, in the various university, every lecturer or every counselor or every teaching and non-teaching staff have or has a specific email that was generated by the school. So if I'm Richard and I'm a student of Wash University and I'm a lecturer, uh, on my email is going to be richard at wash.edu. That means I'm either a student or a lecturer or a professor in the school. So the email should be an official email before the school will accept the recommendation letter. So before you even decide to apply to the school, you have to talk to your counselor, your lecturer, anyone in charge for your recommendation letter. The next thing I would like to talk about is English proficiency test or entrance exams scorecards. It is very, very important. It is very, very important, especially for those who are seeking for full scholarship. If you are seeking for a full scholarship, I will recommend you, or I will recommend you to go in for GRE or any placement test or proficiency test. It is very, very important. It tells the school how intelligent and smart you are. So we have MCAT, we have GRE, we have SAT, we have IELTS. Please make sure you register for one, you prepare yourself very well, then you get a very higher marks so that the school can offer you a full scholarship or can admit you in a specific program. You see, there are some programs, it is competitive. Com- yes, so before you be admitted into that specific program, you have to prove that you are extraordinary among the other students, or you are smarter than those applying with you. So you have to make sure you taking any English placement test or entrance exams scorecards like JRE, MCAT, IELTS, and blah blah blah. So you have to make sure you've taken that test and you send the scores to the school so that you can be admitted and you'll be on a full scholarship or at least a partial scholarship. Because there are some schools it is very, very expensive to pay in the US. There are some schools it is very, very important to pay in the US. So you have to make sure you secure a scholarship for your tuition. I, for instance, I'm a student of Walsh University, and Walsh University is a private school. So imagine, I'm on a scholarship. Walsh University do give scholarships. I'm on scholarship, but I do pay a lot. I do pay a lot. So you have to make sure you take in any placement test or proficiency test to grant you the access to a scholarship. It is very important that you get a scholarship to study in the US. The next thing I will talk about is your statement of purpose. It is very, very important. Statement of purpose talk about you, the student. Statement of purpose talk about you, the student, everything about you. I think most schools do accept 600 words, 800 words, 1,000 words. You need to talk about yourself. Why you qualify for this specific program, why you qualify for this course, why you qualify for the admission, why you needed this admission. You need to talk about yourself. Anything you can do, talk about it in the statement of purpose. You need to say something that will convince the school to give you a scholarship or an admission. So your statement of purpose is very, very important. Most of the times, one trick that most students don't know, especially those in Africa. I'm from Africa, that is why I'm talking about Africa, is that most of them do copy them from online. The statement of purpose, they do copy someone's own from online. And sometimes they think that the school, they don't know. They know everything that goes on the internet. So make sure that you sit down and write your own statement of purpose. Don't copy someone's own from Google or anywhere. Make sure you write your own statement of purpose. And the next thing I'll talk about is your experience letter. So aside the statement of purpose, if you have any experience in something, let's say after your undergrad, you did some work or you involved yourself in some activity in your community, in your country, or you held a position, although it is in your CV. But if you have any, you can also add that to your application, and it will give you an upper hand in getting an admission in a full scholarship. So if you have any experience, you can add it to your admission or anything. And the next thing I would like to talk about is uh I've talked about your certificate and your extracurricular activity. It is very, very important. So if you have any extra curricular activities, you can also add that letter to the document that you needed. It is very, very important. It is very, very important. So the first document I talked about was your passport. You have to get your transcript, your resume or your CV. You have to make sure you have a letter of recommendation. You have to either write a placement text or any entrance exams like GRE, MCAT, and SAT, IELTS. You have to write if you want a full scholarship or if you want a scholarship for your master's degree in the US. You have to make sure you write a placement test. It's not compulsory, but you should write. It's a must. You should write if you need a scholarship because studying in the US is very expensive, especially when you are from Africa coming to the US to study or Asia. It is very, very expensive because most schools you have to pay a lot of money for tuition, boarding, and blah blah blah, books and stuffs. So you have to make sure you have this document, recommendation, and the next thing is what your purpose of statement, experience letter, extracurricular activity. So these are the documents needed to apply for a master's degree in the US. Master's degree in the US. If only you want a scholarship or you want your application to be accepted, it is very, very important. So thank you for joining me today. And my name is Richard, and I'm the CEO for Richard Educational Consult, as I said. And if you have any question, please feel free and post it on the comment section. I'm going to read it and answer every question. And if you want to ask any question, like a personal question, you can send it to me on my email, richardeducationalconsult@gmail.com, and I'm going to reply you. Thank you, and thank you for being with me. See you in my next video. And on my next video, I will try as much as possible to talk about a lot of stuffs that will help you in your application and your study in the US. If you have any comment, place it in the comment section, and please share my video. Share the link to your friends. Tell them about the good news Richard is doing. I'm helping you and you're also helping me. Thank you for joining the Richard Educational Consult family, and thank you for being part of me. Bye.